welcome at the Dubai Aviation Club. What an atmosphere for the interview with Captain Mark Trotter, most outstanding pilot and aviation expert. Do you remember when you first looked up in the sky, fascinated, and telling your family that you want to become a pilot like you are now, Captain Trotter?
I think I had two experiences when I was young. One was when I first went in a small airplane with my father, and I was really amazed by the experience, and I wanted to, I guess, do more of that. And then the second time was when I joined the military, and I was first exposed to the helicopters on the Navy ships, and that looked to me like the best job in the world. And so that was sort of my, I guess, moment where I became enthralled and obsessed with aviation.
That's good. Who was your role model? You've been raised in New Zealand, Australia, and we know from there was Byron, 14-year-old pilot, circumnavigating Australia, and also Jake Jacobson from Australian Air Force. Or who was your role model then?
To me, I guess the generic role model was from the time I joined the military. I was very young, and I always looked up to the pilots who landed after flying on the back of the ship, and they always looked very confident and very happy in their job. And so I guess that to me was the military. I guess the military pilots, to me, that was a very accomplished and very confident people who I always looked up to in that way.
Well, that sounds good. Nowadays, there are lots of governments taking the advice from Unified Aviation, and that is your company and all your expertise. Now, when you think about it, what is the real heart piece of today and future success in aviation? That is our vertical mobility, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're in a really critical time right now. We're only a few years away from having air taxis starting operations in places like Dubai here, and the key thing that with government departments that we're working with and organisations around the region it's about creating a safe ecosystem and making sure that all the elements of the vertical aviation system are safe, and that the passenger journey is going to be an exciting but also beneficial one. So that's the advice we give as we look at all the different elements from not just the vehicles, which is obviously the exciting part. People look at the air taxis themselves as being obviously very innovative, but for us we look at the whole system, so the airspace, the management systems and the infrastructure, and then tie that together from a safe passenger journey perspective.
Yeah, that's so important, isn't it? And do you like to be called Mr. Aviation, or does that remind you of the greatest success you had in your professional life, or even some challenges, surprises, or obstacles that you handled?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm part of a team at Unified Aviation, and we have a great team, and I'm just one person there. I'm a fairly humble person, but I find I'm very lucky. I've had a lot of different experiences, and I've certainly worked in different domains within vertical aviation. And we've had a lot of obstacles along the way, as you do, and that's life, challenge. Nothing's perfect, but I've thoroughly enjoyed every step of the journey.
You want to give us one example of how you managed an obstacle, or what was your great success?
For us, a very recent example is we've developed a modular heliport system that we're implementing in the region and beyond. And I guess one of the big successes we've had is talking to the aviation authorities, explaining the new technologies. And we've just recently, last week, we finally got our approval for our first floating heliport that will be set up in Dubai. And so I guess the challenge is when you develop something new, you have to explain and you have to demonstrate the safe operation capability of it, and then getting to a point where we actually got the authority approval to do that is a big step from that perspective anyway.
Yeah, there's also some risk with it, isn't it?
There's always risk in aviation, but it's more about the making sure that it's safe for operations and
Innovation.
Innovation is, I think, a huge part of aviation. We have to innovate in order to move forward.
I've been really impressed when I saw you on stage in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and now you are here in Dubai. Excellency Ahmed Al Maktoum, he was writing aviation history for the first airport of the whole Khalij region, and now you live here, as far as I know. And what do you see as the major chances that you see for the near future, not only in Dubai, maybe globally, and also for Dubai, of course? And what advice would you give also to the new generation coming?
I think we're in the journey, beginning of a journey of another mode of transport, and I think Dubai is certainly in one of the cities that is leading the way. I think the opportunity for the next generation is to be part of that. I think the air taxi concept is really just at the beginning, and I think most people don't probably understand what that actually means for the future. And once we get to the point in maybe 3 to 5 years where we get automation, then we'll have automated air taxis and literally hundreds of these things flying around our cities. So whilst we see it in movies like Star Wars in the cinema, but now it's coming to reality. And so for the next generation, it's the challenge, I think, is be part of that. There's some really exciting things happening in the transportation world, not just in aviation, but also in ground transportation with automation and driverless cars. I think it's an amazing space to be in. So I'd say the next generation is embrace the technology and be part of the journey. It's a great place to be.
And as much as I understand, we are all part of it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I hope we can welcome you sometime in Nuremberg on our office tower. We have a helicopter 20 years. So future was always going on.
Love to see it. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Captain Trotter.